The Resilient Journey of Darius Turner, A Life-Altering Triumph. Part 1. The Moment That Changed Everything. The airport was alive with its usual chaotic rhythm, footsteps pattering on the polished tiles, muffled announcements echoing overhead, and travelers bustling to their gates. Among the sea of faces, Darius Turner, a 16-year-old black teenager, stood nervously in the check-in line. His backpack, old but sturdy, hung from his shoulders, holding neatly packed clothes, a battered math notebook, and his school-issued documents. Inside the backpack also lay something far more significant: his dreams. He was about to board a flight to Chicago for the International STEM Innovation Competition, an opportunity he had spent months earning. The competition was more than just a chance to showcase his team's sustainable energy prototype. It was his gateway to proving himself, to making his mother proud, and to perhaps earning a scholarship that would change their lives. His mother's words echoed in his mind, soft yet firm. "You've worked hard for this, Darius. Show them who you are." The line crept forward, and soon Darius stepped up to the check-in counter. Behind it stood Miss Robbins, a sharp-featured woman with an expression as stiff as her ironed uniform. Her name badge gleamed under the fluorescent lights, though her gaze was anything but warm. "Good morning, ma'am," Darius said politely, sliding his printed itinerary and ID across the counter. Miss Robbins gave a cursory glance at the papers, her lips twitching downward. "Flying to Chicago, are we?" "Yes, ma'am, for a school competition," Darius replied, his excitement evident. She paused, her eyes narrowing as she typed into the system. Her gaze flicked to him, scrutinizing every detail, from his faded sneakers to his patched-up backpack. "Huh," she muttered, her tone dry. "What's wrong?" Darius asked, the first seed of concern sprouting in his chest. Miss Robbins let out a sharp breath, her disapproval apparent. "There seems to be an issue with your ticket. I confirmed it last night," Darius said, his voice growing quieter. "It should be fine." She ignored him, clicking her keyboard with exaggerated force before looking up. "Do you even have the means to pay for a ticket like this?" The words hit him like a punch to the gut. Around him, travelers shifted and glanced over, their expressions ranging from pity to suspicion. Darius could feel his ears burning, the humiliation washing over him like a wave. I didn't buy the ticket. My school did," Darius stammered. Miss Robbins scoffed, her condescension dripping. "I see. Must be a mistake. Why don't you step aside so we can sort this out?" Her voice was loud enough for others to hear. A woman in the next line murmured, "Poor kid," while a man muttered something about scammers. Darius stepped aside, clutching the strap of his backpack like it might anchor him to the floor. His heart raced as he tried to think of what to do. Should he call his teacher? Would his mother even be able to help from work? The flight was boarding soon. What if he missed it? Part 2. A Turning Point. "Excuse me. What seems to be the problem here?" The voice was calm, clear, and commanding, sharp enough to cut through the tension like a blade. Darius turned to see a woman approaching the counter with a purposeful stride. She was tall, dressed impeccably in a navy blue blazer with the airline insignia pinned to her chest. Her name badge read Evelyn Grant, Executive Operations Manager. Miss Robbins visibly stiffened at her presence. "Oh, Miss Grant. It's nothing serious. Just a misunderstanding." Evelyn's eyes narrowed as she looked at the teenager standing off to the side. His shoulders slumped. "A misunderstanding," she repeated, her voice cool. "Let me see his ticket." Miss Robbins hesitated, but handed the documents over. Evelyn studied them, her brow furrowing slightly. After a brief pause, she turned back to Darius. "Your ticket is perfectly valid," Evelyn said gently, her tone leaving no room for doubt. Darius blinked in surprise. "It is?" Evelyn's gaze remained steady. "It is." Then, turning to Miss Robbins, her voice sharpened. "You'll explain to me later why this young man was treated so poorly." Miss Robbins' face flushed red, and she turned away. "Come with me," Evelyn said to Darius, her tone softer now. "Let's get you to your gate." For the first time in what felt like hours, the weight of embarrassment began to lift. Evelyn Grant moved with quiet authority, her presence shielding him from the lingering stares of judgmental travelers. As they passed through security, Evelyn spoke again. "So, Chicago," she said. "What's waiting for you there?" Darius straightened his shoulders, the pride returning to his voice. "A STEM competition. My team built a prototype for a sustainable energy generator." Evelyn's lips curved into a small smile. "Impressive. You must be proud." "I am," Darius admitted. "It's taken a lot to get here." Evelyn nodded approvingly. "Then we're not letting anyone stand in your way. Let's get you on that plane." Part 3. A kindness remembered. At the gate, Evelyn ensured Darius was taken care of. The gate agent handed him a new boarding pass, first class. Darius' eyes widened in disbelief. "First class?" he asked hesitantly. Evelyn smiled. "Consider it an apology. You deserve it." Before Darius boarded, Evelyn handed him a card. "If you ever need anything, don't hesitate to reach out. And when you win that competition, let me know." Darius stared at the card, her name and contact details bold against the white background. For the first time that morning, he felt seen, not as a problem, not as a mistake, but as someone with value. "Thank you," he said, his voice steady this time. Part 4. The Triumph. In Chicago, the competition was a whirlwind of nerves, excitement, and focus. Darius and his team, Maya and Jordan, stood before the judges, presenting their sustainable energy generator with precision and passion. "This isn't just a project," Darius said in his closing remarks. "It's a solution, a future where sustainable energy is accessible to everyone." When the winners were announced, their team's name rang out across the hall. Team Horizon. Darius' heart soared as they took the stage, the trophy gleaming under the spotlights. In the crowd, he spotted Evelyn Grant, her smile radiant and approving. After the ceremony, Evelyn approached Darius with an envelope in hand. "This is from the Airline, a scholarship offer and mentorship program. Full tuition to any university you choose." Darius' voice trembled. Why me?" "Because you've earned it," Evelyn said, her tone warm. "And because the world needs people like you to keep pushing forward." Part 5. A Legacy of Change. Years later, Darius stood on a stage delivering the keynote speech at a global innovation summit. The boy who once questioned his place in the world now stood as a leader in sustainable energy. Looking into the crowd, he spotted a young teenager, wide-eyed, full of potential, just like he had been. "You belong here," Darius said, his voice steady and strong. "Don't let anyone tell you otherwise."